I want to see the motion because I see the sunshine. Why? If I go be fan, I'm a witness yo. What's it? Why let me back? If I go be fan, I'm a witness yo. What's it?
Robert and Michelle says at the same. And the Baba Bishiadi and Tibusiaba Pepe Modiana and share video no mamma. You better come and we are asking a simple question that we are asking. Say, why are whites and Asians countries more developed than the black countries? You can also join the conversation. You can just send your requests. I am willing and ready to accept you live on Facebook. I'm using two different devices. Back for YouTube and back for your Facebook. And it's a happy Sunday. When a man quite sorry, me to fee, Korean Bushan for no more sorry, yet nefi, na ya relaxing body nekakra, ya breath, up and down, oye, na kanyachole, una. Anyway, my mincha freedom fighters, I'm wine, my miss Abame Kwaba, Roberta Omare, yes, Kokomebli Lava Lady. Yes, Memo Akwaba. In Siambi Kofi Michia, Jenny Love and so on, Michia. Anyway, YouTube and so on, just leave your comment and let me acknowledge your presence here. And then we want PSME team. I am the Ivorians who win against our sons, Nigeria. And also supporting Nigeria is okay. May the best side win today. West Africa derby. Send your TV on the cap and the back West Africa. Inti anko Cote d'Ivoire, anka Cote d'Ivoire, ebeko Nigeria. We wish the best team to win. And I'm looking at the Cote d'Ivoire team, and it tells me, say, in life, all that you have to do, and say, my dear brother, my dear sister, you retire and let somebody who can do the job do the job. In Dusha Ivory Coast team, no, coach when Timmy Anya Jumano, and no anka Saninyan Semuno or resign, yeah. Another person took over. The person will take you over no. Ebomodian say or the team no about a finals. These are lessons we need to learn. When you pay nipa beyebi one beginning edu baby a dine na we na wuntimi a na we free one will be fufra be shower name with different energy, different a friend is saying a yes spirit, different a friend is an opinion, towards a yes solving the problems and issues of our people. Anyway, Yembin komo agwesi michiao. Question amibusane say eba ne sen na countries a womo ye abrofo ana womo ye Asia fo womo timi develop eja countries a tuntumfo. Is it because say ebia tuntumfo no kru no we lack something, and if we lack something edi na lucky edi ntina ntimi ntumpon te say de a crobiso abekona a yabrofo na wo ho. A crobiso abekona Asia for na wo ho. Asia for develop wo mukrum. Oba Europe abrofo ni develop wo mukrum. Wo dey ase uko America wo mu develop wo mukrum. I mean, the ntina yen Africa no yentimi aja sebio yentimi entumpon etuntumfo kru no ade na yensu yentimi entumpon. Let's share our friends' opinions. The other day, there's this gentleman who, a big man, Ghana for the SSR, kind of big man. Obi is a big man. Osidok, we watch you people your videos, and sometimes we come into your comment section, and then we pick certain things. Say you see the new thing about me, no. For me, dear, you know me, you know my stance when it comes to this MPP and NDC. I see the Omoya and they say they go, on our timelines, comment section, and then they take in some comments, be on few say a value addition comment, and then they jot it down. And we hope say gradually, many of us will also join, the van, and the van of truth and accountability, where we can also be asking questions and also be asking our leaders to also do the right thing. Anyway, Benya Kasa na mami ready akwesi asante palm say selfless leaders period. Mami Saba say less corruption in Western and Asian world. So you can also come up, come with your, comment, come with your ideas. One of the things in my life, and they say, when you come speak something, can be. I appreciate your knowledge. What do you say? Nyansa no eni ba ku fotri. What do you oba atro? What do you say? So untimi ntro kra no a. Untimi ntro kra no a. The obetimi ayama me say. What do you send the voice note FA +44 740 4732 733. This is my old number. Ubia nim number ne dada. Old send a voice note. I'm ready to play it here for people to also listen. Between I can tree, between I can Dagbani, between I can house up, between I can Igbe, between I can Nzima. The other can be I'm here for you. Now today is a Sunday, and we know tomorrow many a year brand here medical. I bet you come on the Rainbow Radio. Medical is in town, and he says, Doc, if I'm in town, there I say about Modiana Ibao Nasunija, it's me to come on. I like the guy. I like his vibe. I like the way he's very forceful. I love that. I love that. Until he didn't come on with his producer, manager rather, Angie, the about Angela, those one, that lady, very beautiful soul, very beautiful lady. Anyway, menya kasa na mame fanto na me come comment section na me ready. I say, Roberta Maris dog, do I see brown juice behind it? Hey, Roberta. Oh, I'm out for. It's Sunday. Timothy Ebisa, Thomas Ebisa, Peter Asembi. Anna Thomas says, so you yeah. My belly is a little bit, not nice. So when your belly is not nice, you are pay Ibrahim Bisa Kakrebi. Nyebebri. What do you say? In 1880 something. Now you call drugstore. Now you talk cocaine. Cocaine was easily purchased. Maybe a bit more now. Just say sometimes the abuse not be too much, so there have been some laws to regulate it. What do you say? If you don't know, Coke initially. The formula for Coca-Cola initially had cocaine in it. Yes, it had cocaine in it. And that was the reason why everywhere in this world, people became addictive to Coca-Cola, drinking of Coca-Cola. Obroni nye bibi kwa. Get this thing straight. Ye din command no. Today we are having a conversation. What you say? Ye din command no. Obroni nye ne bibi kwa. Anything you see, say Obroni eshe echrebiano. Eye purposeful driven. Anything that Obroni shas eshe bibiano. A purposeful driven. What you say? Or want a purpose. So with a purpose, he makes sure say he projects his purpose onto us. And he said, a kind of a fast to be anwa. Obenum Coca-Cola, you will purchase it for him to become rich so that they can get money to develop their country. They will do it. And when they do it too, they will come and protect theirs. And they didn't come on. How come say abrofu krono? When we develop it, Asia for kro, when we develop it, yen tuntum krono, yen timin develop it. Because when people talk about civilization, they say the civilization started from, the land of the Egyptians, and then it went through up to the land of the Babylonians, the Mesopotamians. From the Mesopotamians, then it went to Rome. From Rome, then it came to Greek. From Greek, then it came back to England. From England, then they, spread across, went to Asia, the Asian tigers. Then we had the Japanese who dominated, that region. And then from there, and America. The sons and daughters of Great Britain, now today they've become so powerful. Everything that we see broni eyebia, or the nyan sanning in Diebi, or the Taichri. What you say? What the nyansa any nimdie bi di tie chire. Na ye die no de akwa se ye ya de no a ye se sebio ye ma wo bi enya ho mfaso bi eni nti so obi bia adwuma na obi nso ba be pa adwuma ni bia de obe pa adwuma no wono de adwene bi na eba ana de wono so abi adwuma wono nso de adwene bi na eta chire eni nti enu ma me sa ba say we are born to destroy. The obe pa adwuma no wono de adwene a hyere tirim se me de me be me ba be wia. And it is a Ghana. Just look around. Teach you any amanone, a year South Africa, a year Kenya, all the other countries. Look at the motive behind when you are doing business with your brothers and sisters. Look at how people will make you struggle, suffer for the family, and before you realize, the same family will turn around against you and try to destroy you. And they woman be a swear Ghana, see a friend a grace gift. And now a the voice note to be a better bunting sad though, and people are talking about it. Wo brand who say busian be ye no. Na busian so bre, e busian so de ni bre bone say yen say no. Now you see this attitude, enya tuntum kwa na sa attitude na won so. Abrofo no wo mu wo bi. Abrofo no wo bi pa, but what makes the white man dey different is that one more they have come to the realization, say, they need to, first of all, develop their continent. They need to develop their country. Now, before a friend is saying, Wamobabe colonizing the African continent, now Obroni, they fight among themselves. The Eastern fought against the Western Germans. And now the Polish were fighting against the Germans. The British, the Germans were fighting against the British. A friend is saying the Ukrainians were fighting against all other people. It was because they wanted to dominate each other. And a friend is saying because he said they were fighting for that dominance, they were fighting to conquer and rule over each other. Now, Europe was not a peaceful country. And a part the China, and here to bomb ya, and then you can say Russia to bomb, Ukraine is so defending the crew. And this our Africa, but Africa, the end is even more dangerous because Africa, the major problem has been tribalistic nature of the people. It is a bizarre. Why are whites and Asian countries developing than the black countries? In the eye of Apestumuno, Ohuna idea when a tribe, and when you're Santinia, where you're inferior, when you're Igbenia, where you're inferior, when you're Tenia, where you're inferior. We see things in tribal a year friends and lenses. And when you're Zimenidia, and yet. When you be a mo and you emfa kwan bi ne ensen no wo free a friend is saying na regu you emfa kwan bi ne ensen no entino akwa ya say yet to man Ghana ni no entino wo bi tu kwan no wo free a friend say bono no wo kodu asantima mu a ye see ne kasa akra no wo ya akwa wo ye asantini na so ante say ya busua ba ko. Why say obroni ni developing na tuntum no a you see all race began from the black race no. Or no, up to now, on to mean finding the rhythm of development. Now, Debiano, Yanin Namubi Maiso, Anna Sebio, helping to develop their country, but very difficult for us to develop our own. We will learn certain things about a choir a fast way bit me, assess a year a friend is saying, Subaino. Because it is not a day, and the best is answer a continuous agenda. No continuous agenda. No, I see no deliberately. You making sure say we add our voices to it. Because my culture will say, "So we trying to sort of buff be Ghana, Ghana, then you lie bad." Ghana can only be developed by Ghanaians, not any other person. Africa can only be developed by Africans, not any other friends race. When it comes to Ghana, no, don't make up your mind, say a crony you will be property with your own count anti assembly a best or Ghana biano with your own found. There be. I mean, chia, a yen noble medium accordia. And until I see a tear, said. We need to shun tribalistic approach to issues. Because, and you know, Yababe your mind Ghana. And Yababe your mind Ghana there. Then our motive should be, how can we develop Ghana with the talents we have in Ghana? With the 16 regions I want Ghana, no, how can we turn our fortunes around to ensure Sabio Wachinabino Yankwade Tukwaya, they will not go in search of greener pasture, even though we have the most fertile land and the most greener pastures, but yet we are always on the desert searching for a better life. And it is because we've not come to terms to understand the reason why, one, we were created. And for that matter, how can we maximize our profit to bless our people? Yenim dientia wo wiase mu bebre no a wo Ghana no. Yenim die kranti asebie yekosori adopakoto aba. Yenim sebio se ewiase no ayaba no yede ne se yebedi hia kowuo mu ana. Enu nti osofo bi ni preaching na etapo bre ansa na wanya. Enu nti ya wo bakra ne atudi brenya da bi. Wo adwene no. Ye de ne de. Ebusuya me sere ma mo fa nchemi o se bia wuti dede bia na maka akire. Ye de na kwa yese. Ye de aseyetri efiri ya mofrase. Say, oh, ewiase na ayaba ne de. Wo de ne se bra na benya because wa be wiase. Krani ni anka esa anka me se o montene me so mesi maso hitesi me so denden asem be kwa ni konya akne konya akne ye adwuma o. Roberta, I didn't hear adwuma pa o. Alberta, I see you. Yes, by the way. Anyway, on a more serious note. We don't even understand why we are on this earth. We don't even understand. Change akwesi broni di solution beba. Won fa solution in ba ya. Ye hunu kwanya be fa so very good. Yes, John watching. Or see education. Problem no. And it is when you look around Ghana, our police system is a system. AIST. What do you say? And America for a Super Bowl into IST wa. AIST. TME. Say Ghana ni chain. Cheers to Sunday. Eno memo akwaba. Say Ghana ni pe sebio. Or pe bibia or chain yakwesi broni de. And you look at our academicians. Your police system was borrowed from the British police system. And yankasi adwinum ne ye police system o broni a police system no yafa ye ne de. And it is so be officer obey IGP ajiso ban kire wo UK obey a King's College Academy no besua nyansa obi be officer papa bi wo Ghana Ghana Army ajiso ba Sandhurst Military Academy. It's like everything yetiwo kronumu and ye boy brado. It's a borrowed system. We borrow the language English. We borrow the lifestyle of England, Britain and Americans into Ghana Parliament. You don't even know which one we are even practicing. Ya fa America dia kakra, ya fa British dia kakra. In Jakwesi at the Parliament, but we are confused people. And until now, Haruna Idriswa. I mean, has the voice note, Haruna Idrisu. Let me see if I can get it. I was saying. Utie Haruna Edrusia or Bekan Sebi Wase, Nebushia Tiasemna Haruna Ebekan Waharo. It's very, very important because yes, Yadie, DNT, Anna, Obrunini, DND, they seems to get it right, but we don't get it right many a time. So you listen to Haruna, his point is that the parliament of Ghana is very weak. No scrutiny. Just say we act anyhow in the parliament house. Now you see, one of the things I have realized, you didn't come over Bushia, so Dr. Renkwana, a woman team, and you also the now the Abba, now ya King Kai, I am Abena Grant Ose, so see discipline and accountability. And I will, and as if say she knows what my point are, may build it. One of my points is about how to build self-discipline, and also being accountable to our nation, Ghana. America for said, beside your mind by your mouth, the moment wo the obetimi ayede ama America, and I say would you know na wubusa. You be calling him, you be din komo, you din komo no now we share video, no you share and then you return. Now you dream komo. Now you see. But now for be a similar trouble, say in the world of 2016, everybody is clearly too scared to speak some truth. So allow me to be honest. Or say for a large part, poverty in Africa has to do with three simple factors. Or say one, black people are less generally intelligent than whites. Number two, I say African countries have been ransacked for ages by abusing white countries and are now still what? Divided. Number three, I say African countries today are the victim of their own unspeakable, corrupt, egoistic leaders to which the people, unfortunate, are too indifferent to rise up and do something about it. We can all try to cock up political correct scientific theories, but this is the only real answer. Obidia knows Edison me. Some culture says, "Wouldn't me and type here." Baby, you know, I would first send me WhatsApp. So, what you say, Jataba Obaye Obodum and Wakwaba. This conversation, your conversation, I see a starting here having. What you say? Because the more we have such conversations, no. It opens our minds to think and reason so that we can also find solutions in solving our problem. I mean, can we be true? So don't think they are different from you or they possess some superior powers to be John Dramani Mahama, with all respect to them. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. But they were once upon a time like you and I. Our country gave them opportunity to lead. And leadership, I have always said, is servant. So people who are not willing and ready to serve, whenever they go into that frame of presidency, that leadership arena, they fumble, they fall, they don't perform because they don't know how to serve. Into Fair Kufuado, as an example, he is not somebody who has learned about servanthood. And now you see, servanthood is a skill that you need to acquire. What you say? And when you take the story of the Cinderella, we read Cinderella story. No, Cinderella, but then I'm saying, mother, they never had the skill of a servanthood. At the right time, a yes, picky woman. I'm picky woman because they didn't have the skills. But Cinderella had the skill of servanthood. Now you see, servanthood opened doors for you to, first of all, be very, very patient. somebody who will listen, somebody who will not see himself as apart from me, who know be her. Senya media, nobody else. When you have such characters leading us, the character of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when you have them leading the nation, we will not be able to maximize the potential of each and every citizen. Because all cocaine, you may be saying, "Oh, papa, ne wine. We are crossing Iba, we are here Iba." They will try and dim your spirit. Because our leaders are people are Sebio. When we were growing up, we were not taught how to question. So when they reach a certain stage and you try to question them, then it becomes a taboo. King George, I see you. Said Ajari, I see you. Ajari, I see you. Then it becomes a taboo. So everybody is afraid to question NDC. Because the moment you question NDC today, and you don't ask questions that they feel that you have to ask, they will come and insult you. Majority of their followers. The same way with MPP. If MPP goes into opposition, they will expect Ghanaians to speak for them and talk for them. And if you don't talk for them, they will attack you. The society we are building. It's one of the problems for Onipa Tuntun, Nipa Bibinini said, we are egoistic people. The black man is an egoistic person by nature. We feel that we are somebody. We feel like it is our birthright. It really because they feel said it's their birthright because it's all the man. They don't call to ask you what to say. Where did he? How is things going? Your brothers and sisters don't ask like that. It's because they feel that it is their birthright, that egoistic of the black man, that sense of belonging among ourselves. But on the opposite, we have a sense of servanthood to the Akwesi Broni. And everything Akwesi Broni we bow to. We don't question. Yes, Samasa. Then we follow, obey before complain. Like zombies. But when it comes to system, and it's like it becomes an issue and a problem. It's like, let us compete among ourselves and see how many people have 18 cars, 18 houses, when a lot of people are suffering, when we don't have good roads, people are driving Bugattis, when we don't have, good water to drink, people are importing water, people are destroying the water, because nobody wants to take up that sense of belonging, the sense of responsibility, the sense of, say, at the end of the day, no, this country belongs to us and we don't have any other country. So let's protect our own. We don't. Now you see, one of the books, maybe I've recommended this book, and I've got a lot of books I read, but anytime I recommend this book, you see, and I know someone will follow me there, you've read about this book, it's George Clason, the richest man of Babylon. I always say that this is one of the best books in life. This will be said sounds. Blay. Sound net is saying, sound net is saying. Sound near and yet, Yantuasu. Okay. Akwesi says okay. Okay, Kwabna says okay. Now, I recommend this book very much because you see, it talks about how the Babylonians became rich. It talks about how the Babylonians became rich. Now, I can't Babylon, I am a for the might call very, very far. Basically, when we talk about the Babylonians, we say the richest man in Babylon. We're talking about Europe. We're talking about, the early days of Europe. Where we had people like the Greek people, when we had the Roman Empire, where we had the Mesopotamian people, yes, these are the people. Now, this book, yeah, I always say, I spoke to the education minister, and I was telling him, why must we wait till we get old before our children learn certain subjects? You understand me? There are certain subjects we are, and you say then we have to introduce it to our children. First of all, education is a problem. Our education system has been designed in such a way that we will become, a friend is saying, theoretical, not practical. And that is what Akwesi Bruni wanted. The Akwesi Bruni is purposeful driven. He knows that you have the resources. The moment you have understanding on how to add knowledge to your resources, the Akwesi Bruni will not have the power to control you. He will not have the power to make you a slave. He will not have the power to overcome you. So the most important thing is make sure, let me train you people to become theoretical people. You don't reason beyond theory. So that because the moment you start reasoning beyond theory, you will find solutions to the problems in your country. They don't want that attitude. They don't want that aspect. They don't want that nature. And then our system, yeah, we learn maths, what you see, physics, chemistry, and everything. What you see. So it's like our minds are being programmed not to find solutions to our own problem. So there is malaria in Ghana. The Ghanaian is sitting down there waiting for malaria tablet to come from America, Oxford to come from UK, to come from Asia. Meanwhile, you are sitting down, your soil, your land, your herbs, you can find the medicines from your herb. But because we are being trained to be only about theory, and until you are trained, near sisa herbs, near chicha, near the good contain near shape China, near shape by UK, now Oxford University, what now science, now lab, now they are researching. On only chrome no mosquitoes in Kunuo, who chrome now mosquito kuno no trying so be the mosquito tablets. The education system, it programs us like that. Now the question is, why can't we change it? Because we want to find solution to our own problem. Why must we wait? This book, it tells you about how Babylon became rich. And it talks about skills and talents. Let me tell you this thing, and I'll say it, and I keep saying it. Of all the countries I've traveled to, in Kobe, but in Africa, Morocco, Egypt, Abidjan, South Africa, Nigeria, some places, Europe, America, Asia, Singapore, in Kobe, I've not seen people that have raw talent than the black race. When it comes to raw talent, we have it. But raw talent is not enough. You see, what the Americans have been able to do is to build upon the raw talent. What the Europeans have been able to do is to build upon the raw talent. What we have failed to do as a people is that we are not building on the talent we have. We kill our talent at a young age. Thank you, Kwabena. We dominate in every aspect of life around the world. Thank you, Kwabena. But dear, in Africa, in our home, we kill our talents. I'll show you how we kill our talents. William Sego said, how much does our country spend on research? Fantastic. That's what one of the points I made. He took a friend is saying the answer right out of my mouth. Yeah, dear. The moment Akorano, you know, I didn't want be no okika ensem bia empayimfo ntiase no. One, nani nsade omuade. Two, oye bayifo, oye oba, oye bayifo. Three, oh, fa nkwasi asem free ha. We don't encourage. We don't. We destroy our own. It derives from birth, no. You, the Ghanaian, no, you struggle your way up. Akwasi broni die no. And this how they learn the trick. It is a trick. That is why you go to America and you see America so powerful, my brothers and sisters. Left with only Akwasi broni in America, it will not be powerful and great. I'm being honest with you. But because they learn the trick, and they come to African countries, tap in the brilliant talents. Some of them are willing to sponsor them. Some of them are willing to guide them. My idea. We don't put in money in research. We don't put in money in self-development. We don't develop the people. And I bet you can we manipulate, Betty Sego, we manipulate and destroy what we can build. Fantastic. I'm loving the conversation. I'm loving today's conversation because we need to start having such like-minded conversations that can, take us from where we are, to the land of prosperity. Let's give ourselves this example. Since we are doing this together, and in something to be brand can be a better was me, and to us, my men fan two and family will be we are here for the air papa and fat, the airborne in the kitchen, and find so I come whom you are now both with Mr. These days, no, maybe I do at this our age, no. What you say, Nipa, I were 2 digits in, I say, aha, intimacy more. We can't say, Bina, when you are winning Jimwa, and find so I come. Aha. TMA. Yeah, dear. Acquire your first way, dear. Are you different from the Bruninian, dear? Now, I'm our example. The mom, First of all, my mom, a year 11 year be about me, so be try 11. Do you know, sir, 11? John Mahama can so be try 11. MPP for Bufu ye. Ontimi try 11 because Wakaso be try 11. Today, Omwangasa party member, vice president, and I'm the so I introduce you V11. 11, no. Come I introduce you 11, no. Or so be try 11. And every person or your MPP ni be a born in some mama baumia. Tiemie. Obia or your MPP ni be a born in some mama baumia. But when John Mahama kind, these MPP people chastise Baumia Mahama and attack Mahama. But nobody thought of saying, why don't we open our brains and see what the man is saying? So that we all think about solution. Including my father. You come now, my focus, my focus. People started attacking him. From the MPP, the same MPP about out to say they will cancel E-levy. This politics is not helping us build. This politics is not helping us develop. This politics is not helping us to get the best out of our people. So we kill everything. But meanwhile, we want to develop. Our real competitors are not the Ghanaian. Our real competitors are the Asians. The Americans, the Europeans, like it or not, they are our competitors. You can say life is a race. That is why we call human race. Human race. We Ghanaian, we are one race, racing against race like the French said, the Italians, the Americans, the Europeans, the whatever, the Asians. Ours is not to wrestle against each other. The energy should not be spent on fighting each other. The energy should be spent on making our country great and mighty, so that when the Ghanaian citizen puts their passport or in the passport to tour, you will say, wow, this guy is coming from Ghana, a great country. I need to salute him. I need to respect him, because where he's coming from, the people are thinkers. They are visionary men. They have built their own. They can feed their people. Their people are not dying of hunger. They are not dying of malaria. They are not dying of cholera. They are living like human beings. Nobody have respect and time for the poor. I repeat, nobody has time for the poor. Nobody. Only few people. Only few people, and they want time for the poor. I'm just trying to open your brain. So if we want Americans to have time for us, we need to come out of our poverty. If we want the Asians to respect us, we need to come out of our poverty. And that is why today, a useless man, forgive me of my French, one of the most stupid white people, forgive me of my Greek, has come out to say this. And listen to him.
It's time for us to just put the imperial hat back on and say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded. Because our own national security risk is it. Exactly. You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens, because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris, instead of actually
hold on a second. Hold on. People on the left are going to watch this. They're going to say, wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's
time for us to just put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is it.
Exactly.
Interest rate.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens, because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris, instead of actually.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on. People on the left are going to watch this. They're going to say, wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what you say now? And you won't ya minimum ya Ghana ya NPP, NDC, MPP, NDC. Abra, you want the best in NDC. We have best in MPP, best in CPP, best in third force. Why don't we put together the best to solve our problems? If not, people like this will speak nonsense. If not, we will be listening to nonsense. And you see, he has to feel free to say it, because he is speaking the truth that our leaders are corrupt. Does that mean say Americans leaders are not corrupt too? They are. Does that mean say the European leaders almost only corrupt? They are. But one more corruption, no, it is not to the expense of their country. Woman ria and famba African be developing. Yayam paying for ria the court woman chrome and the quiet the eco develop it. If we sit and do this MPP, NDC, MPP, NDC, this truth from this man will always pop up. We were here when one of Americans' president Donald Trump said Africa is what? S-A-I-S-H-I-T. Amena. Was he speaking the truth? You'll be upset. Being angry is not enough when you have not been able to turn, a friend is saying, your people out of poverty. You've not been able to take them out of poverty. Our anger should be channeled into developing our country. Other than that, Tizokano, is it the first time Europeans are speaking nonsense about Africa? No. And it's not going to be the last until we change, until we move away from this tribalistic nature of us, until we shun away from this attitude of fighting each other. Usu Simon, I greet you. Godwin, I see you. This behavior, nobody can enter your house and start insulting your wife and your children unless a woman na lie or not true. Say, you cannot go into his house and insult Kwabena. You dare not. You cannot enter William Sego. Say, you can't enter his home and say me, me didn't matter. No. The moment the person opened their door for you, any behavior exhibit of fear shows that Nipano how or respectful. And until today, we see Chinese in Ghana disrespecting Ghana. Watch it, I see. We see Chinese people in Ghana destroyed our water body, and the police and the military people cannot even stand up for their right for the country. See how foolish the police and military has become? Because they don't understand that we race against these people. They don't understand. They don't know where we are going as a people. They don't. They are waiting for the miracles to come from Europe. They are waiting for the miracles to come from America. But let me tell you, our miracle will never come from America nor Europe, because they want us to remain like this. They want us to be poor, destitute, so that they can control our minerals, control our destiny, control our lifestyle. Was the Chinese like this? The Chinese once upon a time were like Africans. The Chinese people were like us. Jimmy Carter, President of the United States of America, he's still alive, 99 years old. I stand to be corrected. In his time, they referred to the Chinese people as backward people. Eunice Nakwale, Tete, watching me from East London. They refer to us as backward people. Do you understand the word backward? The candy pa no say it Chinese phone count. You meet to see it not table one. They don't invite the Chinese people. Because I'm on same fata. Sama fo bio manomo kasa. China phone kasebi. When the Japanese people were talking, how dare you, the Chinese people? Now Chinese people were they were huge in numbers, but yet they were referred as inferior people. They were referred as inferior people because the Chinese people were not country that was developed at the time. Now, because the Chinese people was not a developed country, Obia Soria, Otimi can you open the church Chinese, This is the story of Ghana and Africa today. We have the youngest youth in the world. We have, a population, we are not tapping in the energies. In 1978, the Chinese were like that. The Chinese people were not a developed nation. Their country was not developed. So the Japanese can look at the Chinese and speak to them anyhow. Until 1978, a revolutionarist named Deng Xiaoping, the Tintin, the Tietia, na who offer, the big beer to say Kufuado. And he said, no, we cannot go on like this. A 700 million population. And we are referred as backward people. How? 700 million people will be a sorry of Kasatre anyhow, will be a baby no person of Kasatre. These were the minds of the people. These were the minds of the people. The leader said, no. People just came and they talked to their country people anyhow. Why must I allow this to continue? Should I go out and issue a letter and say Americans don't insult Chinese people as backward people? Or for ICU? Should I go on and say Japan don't insult Chinese people? There be. Should I go on and say to the Europeans, don't refer to my country as backward people? There be. So today, when the last time a friend is saying, Donald Trump can say Africa, there be. It is the fact and it's the truth. But Deng Xiaoping, one question TV so, say, Mamenko team to the Americans. And because of this, he spoke to his people. You've all heard what the people are saying about us. They say we are backward people, we are inferior people. We don't even deserve to be on earth. You've heard what they are saying. It is painful, but it is the truth. Look at Japan. They are also Asians, but they don't insult them. Why? Because the Japanese were developed. It was a developed nation. They had the Nissans. They had the Toyotas. They had giant companies. We have the numbers, but we are suffering. We are struggling. Let's turn our ways. Let's change the mindset. Let's change the way we do things and act. Let's change the way we behave. Our attitude towards our problems. How can we solve it? Can we solve it with anger towards our enemies? Or can we solve it making sure that we look for the real solutions to solve our problems? Now, in saying this, I'm talking about perspective. Perspective is the key to how one's fare in life. Perspective. So how do we see our problem? Do we see our problems? So we cannot overcome the problems facing Ghana today. Or we see our problems as problems that we always have to wait for IMF to come and solve for us. Must we sit idle, fold our hands in our legs and say we are waiting for Americans to find a cure for malaria. Or we have to fold our arms and say, oh, let's look for solutions and solve our own problems. You see, the path of happiness always begins in your mind. The path of happiness, it always begins in your mind. In the mind, there come solutions. In the mind, I always say, it's your heaven and it's your hell. I mean, breaking it down, kakra. In the jungle, you call remua. You were bobia. There was Sibo, you were Jata, the lion, and all those ones, no. You were giraffe, you were zebra, you were monkeys, you named them. You were elephant. Now, the elephant, you know, is the biggest animal. Jungle, right? But even though elephant no was soon, the king of the jungle, we don't say is the elephant. You jungle no elephant no soon, but he's not the king of the jungle. Because the perspective about himself, that is saying, so was no jata, or do they say perspective is the key to how one fares in life. Moment a lion ebe hunu osono no say, this is my daily bread, this is my lunch, this is my supper. But moment lion, your friend is saying elephant be hunu lion, no say, yay, how do I defend myself? How do I protect myself? If not, this animal will eat me up. The perspective. But Senk was not so saying lion. No. Our perspective as Ghanaians, be not to say elephant in this world. We don't see ourselves so we can overcome our problems. We don't see it say, with all the abundance of the natural resources, no. Why are we not the kings on this earth, but slaves, destitute, poor, a nation referred as a third world country? Our perspective, the perspective of us, as citizens of Ghana. So when you talk to politicians like MPP and NDC, they will let you understand, say, our problem is so huge that they will need about 50 years to solve. But the same issues are common. The Chinese people also went through when they got one leader. They say Kufuado, named Deng Xiaoping. His perspective was different. The perspective, they said, the Chinese people can overcome their problems today. And they are not going to remain as inferior as people say they are. And that they are going to become the giant of Asia and also take over the world. That was the perspective, Les Mans, Michel. That was the perspective. I am Abena Grant O says, so I always feel entitled for something. The perspective of the Chinese people, the Chinese leader, it changed the mindset of the people. And for the first time in 1978-79, the Chinese people, 700 million people, believed that they can come out of poverty. That is why I said to you that happiness starts from the mind. So the mindset of the people had to change to that settings of believing, programmed to believe that they don't need the Americans to always be solving their problems for them. That they don't need the Europeans to always be solving their problems for them. So the mindset, until we change the mindset. Now you have a Ghanaian who will go to the church today. This week, the Ghanaian prayers for the week, a Christian, a Muslim, whatever religion you practice. Kainte Makola o Nucho Wami Dromo Hami Dromo Hani Dromo let blessings fall. The blessings falling means that people should come and patronize them. Look, I see you. The blessings, they say, or come market and go for Benton idea. But this same person has a mindset, say Ghana is not going to develop. But he has a mindset, tell me, why never told you, Ghana, you know? It is a corona year. How can the Ghanaian get money to come and purchase what you are selling? So the mindset needs to change. We can build it if we want to build Ghana. But it starts with the mind. Pamela, Brimwell. Between Ghana and my YouTube follow so active. Mejoso. Okay. Okay. Sabe, Pepe. I say this as a testimony. Because yeah. No correct. But it took me 4 years to tune this mind to a digital mind. And yet, analog now, which she, you know,
it has to connect digitally. So darling, as a tuma, one dish with it. It took my mother 4 or 5 years to groom her mind to run her business in the operation style, paying the workers on time, never lack the commodity. Educate your customers. And then, she has survived COVID with her business. Their business now here, ice block.
Yeah.
Heating bills every month because I want don't hit my way down. And yeah, I'm awful. Yeah. The Nipa and what this is the one hit now. May a thing. Every Mitchell, make it about the small boys up on a river jump.
Oh, okay.
May a thing, I'm a compete, no, all the important places are. I would feel him. And I will steady hitting away approach here. Wherever there's an opening, they have to counter the cold air coming in.
Yeah.
How can you look at this and not admire it? It's the problem solving skill.
That's it.
That's why you guys are all in Canada. Yes, it shows where you hear them. And yet, a buffalo may back growing. Give me my YouTube on my chin from the dawnest hours. Me won't be that. Me won't want some of that. Me won't before that. You want a nipa, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, you sit downtown, my debate on so-called first class citizens for a ban on keep on waste that. Get a pop from a sending every tomorrow. Now, why are you clean? And what I realized when I said, a company, a big corporation, people have been saying, if car will say, oh, be a friend about this or your dad is the war. And over reception, not to or to the question, also not the time, also not to go back. This same person met me, what I see, 9 per home. Will blow the nose, as to this, you know, you could ball an itchy. Now, when you're walking in the broad daylight, many people who say, hey, I could want to have the cleaner here. Or show, who soon over the other day, and look how you're waiting, and so where's the problem going from now? Then that attitude, comes to a close end, which I no, this is an alien being about the base of the man. So, make I was say, the other one approaching now, and you can't hear you. You cannot say, we want to have 2 lanes, anything above 50 kilometers per hour. A head of collision is automatically death sentence. So what will you do? We will raise the concrete curb to go about 6 inches high. So a car, even at 100 kilometers, what time I want to go, what I think, ain't even for oncoming vehicle. My years is starting because Nippon, replace, I need to change. Their body parts for why you cannot replace it. So then what easy way can we prevent death? Just by putting a median. Just a median saves life. Define if the solution is concrete, wherever there is a main, we will go out there and look for cement. Even if it is there, we have to use religion to take their mind away of what they own, even if it means to win great chaos over there, so that we can have a light to light the Eiffel Tower now. We will do it because we need it. And we cannot do without it. And we cannot sit aloof while they enjoy Africa, while we suffer in Europe. So if we have to win great chaos over there, hey, I'm Matador, with the man, who said Mr. Sissiriku, who made me the bonnet, or Niger, where I'm Matador, get killed by choice, not by how much money you put in the political power, political party. It's, because now, China, no man fast, and no man should be here, Ghana, the ministry, probably here, as ambassador, your job there is to smell and sniff every good dinner our country have that we can provide because we have a bilateral relationship with this country. You're not just going because you no. They pick and choose ambassadors that will bring home. And in your submission, look at it. These people gather outside to bring in. Yeah, problem back one on. Young people for this day, you are not more than you. Now, on my fire, half your coin, how much you do more. Near no, you know. Our body, no, over my news or not the one. We will not just get away over with it. No, I am not a fellow. None the years of the old, you know what it is. It's me and what you couldn't. The years of the young. No, not bad man of women's and boy leader. Or no, can't watch any years there. What Jim is. Now, it had given away a possibility every day. Now, what did I do in my TV? No, crazy car. This is our leaders. For the good now, I got to GS class and the zero. Which you for a while, no good enough flag. All this success. Wait to me, black no jump. The leader, he doesn't even have access to the leader. To tell the man, look up, Rutino. You mustn't put on yet the concrete and you're around. No much I did be time was here. No more did sorrow, no more straight. Because they are children and they are going to be children for once in their life, and they will never want to be the near when you not also young bad idea. So at every stage in life now, there's what you have to do. This guy cannot speak to power. Because why they so and yes, there's also because all his life he has been raised with fear. And forever he let go of that fear, he thinks that he will be very vulnerable. So he will die in his fear. It's our problem. These are the people that because they're not one day. Because I know you know what the woman of Aboriginal. Now, by some almost the young man, to get the young man, and the Papa. Yeah, I'm found what you pride. Yeah, I'm found what you are, and I know what you call dear. Yes, I can see that it's like a safety car. No, we will have to do the right thing. We will have to do the right thing. What is the right thing? Let me tell you this. When I started with this enlightenment, Papa Kajame said, I didn't know when I catch up. When you be it's almost that I want now, almost said, oh, channel. I am not banana. And I said, oh, for one candle, no, and the consume be the only two mana. And when they are all good, no, kind of one, more kind of, and just one people new. But where we live them, no, is where they want to play with us, and they are on the floor. Almost on. You get one, no, making yaba, and you get the apple. I say, yeah, you be told no pass through. I say, who you pull, and I say, oh, Padre, now who about from Nancy Gay to blow up, who put up who put ya. And as you gain root, you gain your stamina. What do we see? When our people get good life, the engineers, the doctors of more approaching, or when you are not match up with the community, or try to get the community. I laugh at them all the time. Say, you are a minority where you are. You are a minority. I'm from Colonialism. They look at you and they laugh. Oh, I but don't move your mumba. Before money before money yeah, they be. I'm a better because you have not said, I couldn't say, look, that food was very teach me to eat African food. I want my breakfast. What is the breakfast, sir? Get the brownie on also, a lot of mana. On a pair, it could be, you know, that's in his head. And your crap on you, your crap was still over down with it. You know, I say, you know, what you approach, no move, wine, and I get banana, you know. Some of them have chose easy way. Young coach to any NDC, young coach to any MPP. I can't tough for the tough point, you know. I never go bomb in the back with me. Why don't we stand in the middle and speak truth no matter how long it would take for our people to be enlightened? But yeah, same way now. The message is going far. Believe it or not, but Obia just has been born for 40 years, 50 years. And yet 3 years, yeah, yesterday I can say, yeah, no, that's okay. I will gamble with my life and try this fight and then they can bring change. Some of them, they are in denial. And I'm saying in the course of in denial, look up on yeah, course they didn't say you couldn't find a copy of the park on the age and it's all time wasting. They don't get it. It's all time wasting. Yet no one a year who direction here for see you put up a party in the way. It's all the same time now. Giving NDC another 4 years ago. It's the same time wasting. giving every that 12 years of governance is the same time wasted because we know their track record. What can they do? So money baby papa we wouldn't have been here in the first place because the power of the resources, the power of the power that they need. Mama power opening, he's had it before. Now he's lost it. He's here begging like any African. I give him 2 minutes, not quite to a gym. Then he goes begging, not that form, no slide, But you had it. You should be even bow your head in shame that I had the power. What did I do with it? Now you are out the John. You see now you are begging. Now you are begging. That is how some of us and they expect it is money now go the wrong side. We are begging. We had the resources. Today we are lying, gay, lesbians, if you can asylum. Oh, one person will use my to start, to TOEFL. We are never worth of it. We always need something. And yes, let's cook our own food. We will eat it when we want, how we want. And it's ours. When you make your own road, you decide the road, the speed limit. When you build the house, you decide where you sleep. When you come to my house and you're my maid, I will give you what I don't want. The job I don't want for my children to do is what you will do as my maid. Take it or leave it.
Yanko ora abose ho.
Diesel. That is them way. They be who should we vote for? Who should we vote for? My guy, you are old enough. You are old enough to know what direction is good for you and your generation is coming after you. Not me to tell you who to vote for. And I won't tell you. If I want to abandon
news be am say catches you say you call Upper West papa bia we see hotel kama mo friend no Jirapa Dubai stand to be correct to say hotel there yes JSM should be nipa boni fo bi akwa kokun no wo hwa the hotel makwa kokun ora bo say bremu
papa dog brakon sama mi chiamu nyina dog mi chiamu na dog pacho mami true asemi ma na investigation South African embassy on crime opposite the embassy the omo putu up edifice who owns that edifice it's about 10-story building. Who owns it? Yeah. But when you're in project
okay, the new South African embassy now. The organ. Okay.
Yeah.
They all are Bonnie a crescent area.
Yeah. Dog near there is nothing wrong about it. Nothing wrong. But the problem is various political parties and nominating ambassadorial potentials they are on merit. There is no meritocracy. Yeah. The party angles near my position no more. Dog. We say patient's doctor confidentiality I wouldn't say too much. My brother hospital. Now me say, come and see the service. We shake me to say, doctor, I'm see no fee. Many doctor and cry because I'm say, no, it's no background.
Yeah.
What did you go? I see you are doctor recommendation is no. We had bid rate in our firm. Oh, from here the basic I see dog, we see come and see your box the floor now. Dog, what the jollof rice to swab it dog, painful. And I say, dog, we say do because they said, coffee, my sister said, more than 15 cases. Doesn't relate to us, but neighbor no haba. Let's say, oh yeah, Kiania, one of the I see. Doc, and you view.
So why are we not yenim saying so? Yenim saying no. Then no yen gather the best. Say MPP, say DC, say CPP, say the people. Why don't we gather the best and say to ourselves, say,
political principles so until they don't want to relinquish.
And how did we get
They
there?
don't want to relinquish.
That is what we want.
No, then they buy Dr. Indrum any can for that table almost shut Dr. Indrum with business down because Johnson Salif Emma Indrum project.
yeah.
And no who try and can for that buy shutting it down. That was it. In a ruling not quite a Ghana. Into a winning case, ruling and question everything. Contractors are own Indian bank to the tune of over 2 billion cedis. A Juman to say, what come at no year, Juman? Contractors are own to our own.
You know, some of them say, Ora, a year can come, so make a comment. What phrase him to your man? Hello,
Yo.
Boko, now where? I'm so make a contribution.
Contribution I mean making and it's a match of me platform now.
Yeah, Joso.
Makasa as me na me sake bi. So him say you were election year me boa.
Ane.
On say MPP ni NDC omo ye campaign. Ba party bi anye campaign.
You correct.
On say ya mo ya Ghana o man ni akasa ye penisa o. On say okoto ba obi mu nyina koto.
We dey and now no crowd there bibisa PP before say other political parties no more campaign I don't know mo nya kam so omo there omo person mo respect the law the constitution about election it omo twen na isi ni bi ekwanya na omo de omo hyase aye campaign but MPP ni NDC no omo de omo yo omo de
Mati on say Mahama any NDC and MPP any omo di Ghana so almost 32 years so ba here ye pending for no year instead say ahemfo no any asofo akese na omo Ghana any yen citizens no say ye nya mic ye bebusa Mahama ana NDC ana MPP ana se Kufuado ne ba umiam say omo person bebusa MPP ni NDC say Ghana kuru no eye only MPP ni NDC pe ne betimi afom political party ana see a running multi-party system. One hidden Jamaica no one busa Mahama say Mahama yes sir wa nyame ya dom na we ni election now buy you could buy enye your hospitals enye yes sir enye and no busa but the same party na the Ghana so 32 years on yes I the name but instead say and can I for net mark umbebusa say umbusa Mahama any NDC and as my MPP say Ghana ye running two-party state system and now ye running multi-party state system. Now we are not I have not catch from say minimum. Some of me who say ye running multi-party state system. The party be now what in application have to electoral commission on. Musi to somebody na the certificate be man. Bounce will be about obi and so ya o man na per se ya dia to say MPP ni NDC na Ghana. And also me no capitalize also.
Oh, that's it. Mintwano. Unya omachita for no kra no a ene omo bloggers na say Ghana the MPP ni NDC pe party bi eni ho bi.
That's I am for no say go to form. Any I am for kese ni nyina busa sa question no. And the whole nation man to pressure. And what MPP ni NDC ni electoral commission na so office omo miemma small parties near ma.
We are sure so two for betting me bisa.
There be you running two-party state system and I say running multi-party state system.
When the question is for man,
Money making the point.
That is why we are here.
Why in the Ghana, mommy, and solid near a man to platform, and I see a man to pressure. And what MPP and this electoral commission, and so I say, and then so on Ghana. And this is so on Ghana. Instead, on Bama of you granting any other parties in no abano. On my and no man, yes, so accepting. It's not progress, no, a man to platform. Kevin Telamo, Ghana, the MPP NDC. I didn't as MPP NDC, Sura. Omama other small parties in a social certificate, Mama. So, just here, and no sapa, I want Dr. Rengadia. Yeah, Mammy Casamucho.
Yeti
Mahama, President Akufuado, Baumia, and Kufu, any or more Macanino. So, Mubian means to the one conquer in the party, Ghana would never ever default. Because Mahama won't me we need lesson, but also your president. Baumia or no quarter won't me we need lesson, but also your president because when you say MPP NDC Mutia, who bet me we need lesson by your president. But on no quarter won't me a winning. By that, Dr. Nkrumah, UP, and I say UDC is not far nearby.
no correct.
When you said M1 or office, what's saying of the part where we need lesson?
Oh, we need no prison cry.
Just no efficient leader. Woman, Ghana, Ghana, those people call themselves politicians now as mayor president. Just say MPP and it's 19 Hinikaku. And I will be almost mayor president. Now, you say, you're going to develop any official leaders for your more.
Obi said, Tizo said. I see a Canadian parties in people who are there. They did a bimu a DSCB, which NDC, or no, the NDC, DSCB. It's Argentina. Yeah, can see a journey NDC, woman NDC in power. Now, NDC power. Now, Omunian here near Sakan to say the I can or MPP time.
Doctor, you have been on Yambe, by a consequent near nothing to us. Yambe, Ebetan's bath.
And she, and this bay, Gandhi, bet my just did the world. Hey, oh my God, I'm more. I'm not going to say this in singing. Oh my God, just the word put. And the M said and the E. Electoral commission will be a some correcting. Correcting 5 times. Your maximum certificate with Massa Party. MPP NDC are gagging. Ghana. Say, you bet me I'm an MPP NDC electoral commission at Yasia. I just said I am. Any Asofa Kisia, any Esika form, any young Ghana for the mantle presser. I will 2 parties in the electoral commission and say, Obia Ghana, Obia Ghana needs saying that you be. And this will be so pepper, so betting the party as a state electoral commission.
Emma Hokine.
Or master party the certificate.
Yo, Rakan come. Yo, and you better ask and answer 1 minute, not on the top of my.
The American say, himself what now for? When you are him for, as a man making. Decided in a catching of say, or more register concern.
Okay.
Say, MPP need a NDC, any electoral commissioner, almost have for mine, any upgrade. And yes, I did again a MPP NDC because some of my say electoral commission, no matter again, woman are appointed. And some of my party be a man. Don't be my don't call the Ombama Naba. Ombama a Apeluaba because I am branches media. So just say it was now I didn't hear me flowing in and say, meaning so radio stations are only be presenters. And the journalists, one must start to say, oh, raise a topic.
Yo.
What you say, no, my name from say, I feel there's some other parties. So I'm about platform.
Yo, Miss Medasipa, Medas anyway input, very fantastic input. Mami Sawa, Mami Fusua, Memo Aquaba. Kwanza, Kwabna, Mr. Kwanza. Asemu. Now,
this is why I always say that we can't stop. But every day, heaven wins and so heaven rejoices.
That's it.
Every day, freedom fighters, educate and like never back one. I celebrate. I'm so happy like a pig in the mud. What I say? You know, in my way,
oh, there.
The records are there.
Oh, yeah.
If you have the two way, I can some say Chimbaha. So somebody has to start it. And I am grateful to say, yeah, I started.
Good.
Mama, NDC passing there. Yeah, stop. Yeah, can't do more.
Oh, there.
I've never said that. Mama, yesterday,
you see, Mr. Kwanzaa, you see, my address you you see, any rational human being, or yet thinker, na adwene mu da ho, ebebusa asem way. Say Deng Xiaoping, the leader of China, at 11 years, it may take 700 million people out of poverty, which is a fact. Any person, you can just even Google it. 1978, Deng Xiaoping became the leader of China after the death of General Mao in 1976. 1981, Rawlings was the leader of Ghana. Ofri Akonyaso in 2000. Deng Xiaoping, Ofri Akonyaso in 89. He took 700 million people out of poverty. Now, a friend is saying, yeah, Ghana statistics say, yeah, the population census around 2000, we were somewhere around 20-something million. Yet we cannot take these people out of poverty after 19 years of NDC reign. MPP Subayam, the Echo Hippic. Atamils also by. Atamils also by, or no, so the end of one, and your mama is about to us. When in BB, we sit in a country where we have reduced knowledge through politics. One more academicians, they look like, excuse me, educated illiterates and fools.
Oh yes.
Now we are here and clapping. John Mahama built Pokwasi, a friend is saying, Saglami, even though it is a Tamil's a year contract to the farmer John Mahama. They see 5,000 yes, it means 5,000, you see by 1,000, and people are happy. When in China, one of my friends sent me a video yesterday, now on my other phone, my private number. I said, Dr. Ren, look at this. Your people are rejoicing because of 5,000 houses. Or say, in China, my province I am, one flat, Nipa 20,000 houses, rooms, so.
I look up 2 years ago, COVID almost say there is so much uncompleted building work. Like, oh, shit, you go for my. Fear where you feel about the way I got down drone. Even America, UK, I am pushing to say, and then China, a good yourself. Investors, no, I could get mortgages, Roma politica, and I can answer the NDC because of COVID, no, and I am uncompleted, and then I am moving around, you know, you're 3 years because I don't know who can see a pack home, go home and come back again. And then I'm going to go here, a bet for the whole Ghana population. I'm going to be able to get
the theater. Those who follow MPP and NDC are really closely mad. Abusia. Sometimes when you talk about some of these things, somebody might think that you don't like the political parties. But you see, we need to challenge ourselves as a nation. 40 years. I mean, we've not seen massive improvement. If we continuously do like pamper these politicians, our politicians will continuously give us the kind of leadership we need. Because we don't challenge them. Oko challenge na NDC ni ibuefu. Oko challenge na MPP ni ibuefu. What is the aspect of being a leader if we cannot query your ideas, query your brains to make sure that we get the best out of it? We have made our people, our politicians, lazy. And for that matter, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. God willing, tomorrow I'll come your way. Have a good day, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching me. Thank you.